going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of an experiment with some sewing threads, some nail varnish and resin, and see if we can make something that's unique and pretty and easy to sell. Because you know what I always say, if you're trying to sell something, you need to be unique because you want to be different from what everybody else has got out there. So let's give it a go. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please boot that like button, and I will leave links to everything that I use today in the description below to make it easy for you to find. So I'm pouring out my base colour, and the reason I'm doing this in epoxy resin rather than using UV resin is to allow myself to have a really solid colour. Because remember, if we put this amount of colour into a UV resin, then it wouldn't cure very well because the light wouldn't be able to penetrate all the way through. So it's really important to make sure that you choose the right resin for the right part of this. And I know that these are going to be lovely and solid and give a great result. I'm not filling these all the way up the top. I've filled these molds about halfway up the top because that leaves me then room to do what else I want to do with them. Using a little coffee stick here to push that resin into all these edges and around all those bits. Going over, getting rid of any bubbles, and then I'll put it in my curing machine. These have all cured up now, only took about an hour and a half in the curing machine, and now what I want to do is soak this cotton so it's very well saturated into the UV resin. So I'm pouring a little bit of UV resin into these little tiny silicone little cups. I love these little cups. And if you buy my kit, you also get some of these small silicone cups in it as well. It's got loads of stuff in it, so it's a great little kit. Pop in a little bit more UV resin onto top of that, and now it's nicely covered. And this is actually beading twine, I believe, but it's nice and thin and works really well for this experiment, and I love it. You can't wait to see what it comes out like in the back at the end of this video, because it really does come out well. I'm so pleased with it. I'm doing just random patterns here, but even though they're random patterns and it's not the same pattern with the cord, what you'll see is they still look like a genuine pair of earrings. Curing this up using my UV light, this also comes in my kit, and that way it's not going to move. Now this one I'm going to be doing a bit like a neurographic art piece, and I love this as well when it finishes. So I want to make lots of swirls here and wiggly bits around. Massive thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. And if you want to know about the membership, if you click on the link, it will give you information without having any obligation about joining. But we have a Facebook group that is very active. We have competitions, plus there's extra videos and lots of other important information that comes through being a member. So check it out, links in the description. So making sure I've got all my ends nice and tidy, I'm now daubing a little bit of resin on where this covers each other, so where they overlap, and that way I can cure those up. I also made a little heart with this black thread as well, and that just needs curing up before the next stage. Awesome thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. You guys really do allow me to keep making these experiments. I cannot tell you how much you are appreciated, so thank you. So for this final pendant, again, I'm doing just a random piece, but I think with some more flexible cotton, you could possibly do signatures, writing, all sorts of things. And I think there's lots you could do with this technique that you wouldn't be able to do any other way. So now I've got that in there, all I need to do is, once these cotton bits are cured up, is fill these up. Now I am using a UV resin for this, but as you can see, I've not put as much pigment in these, so the actual UV light can penetrate through it nicely and cure it up. And then with the one that's going to be looking like a neurographic art piece, I'm going to use several different colours. Now, I haven't put any pigment in this at all. This is just glitter, and that should allow it to cure up really quite hard and without any problems whatsoever. So I'm putting this in random bits, trying not to get the same colours in next to each other because I want to put quite a few colours in. Now, you could leave this just as it is once it's cured up and not worry about doming it up. But as you'll see as we go forward, I do actually dome this up and it comes out really well. Again, I use these coffee sticks, or you could use a toothpick to get it in there. Now the earrings, I'm going to be using nail varnish. And as you know, I love using nail varnish in resin. It does nothing to the resin. It doesn't affect the resin in any way. And you can put several different coats of this on. I'm going to use 3 different colours here, but one of the colours I do use is quite dark. And I actually do this centre bit, I give it 2 coats because I want it to be quite solid. And you'll see that it comes out lovely and solid at the end. I love these. I think they look so classy. So painting that on using the brush that comes with the nail varnish. And this is just the common or garden dirt cheap nail varnish. I didn't spend any money. And it is not a UV nail varnish. It is just a normal nail polish. Remember, I've got another channel, so please check that out as well. I do lots of different arts and crafts on that and lots of different upcycling as well. Now I'm taking a micro brush and painting that in so I don't make too much of a mess. Finishing off this bit here. And then I'll add some blue in it as well. I did try a lighter colour in the middle of that to give it a bit of a two-tone effect. And that works nicely once it's all dry. And how I dry this is I pop it in my curing machine for 5 minutes. It dried that nail polish. Lovely, ready to move on. So you can put quite a lot of these into the curing machine and make a lot in a day. Once everything's dry, it's just a case of doming these up or filling the moulds up with the remainder of the UV resin and then allowing that to cure. And look how pretty these are coming out already. I'm just filling these right up to the actual level, popping any bubbles that have come up in the UV resin or that have dislodged in that UV resin, curing it up, and then I can get on to the next stage.
These are all ready now, and all they need to be done is demolded and possibly domed up if you want to dome them up. And I think they've so far come out really pretty. I think my favourite one is this one here that reminds me of neurographic art. I definitely think I'm going to dome that. I'm sure that one's going to look lovely domed, as well as this heart. It's worth taking the extra time to put the epoxy resin base on, because I think that gives it a nice solid look, which you wouldn't be able to get with UV resin, because it probably would struggle to cure right the way through. Now I'm going to dome these all with UV resin, and then make them up into some jewellery. And if you want to know how I dome, I've made lots of videos where I've domed, and I'll link one at the end of this one to show you how easy it is to dome with a brilliant UV resin. These are all finished. I think you'll agree they've come out great. I don't have a favourite. I like them all. The neurographic one, I love, and it has come out really, really cute. So easy, such a simple way of being able to put some detail in using a little bit of thread and cotton. If you want to learn more about using resin, then be sure to check out the video that's coming up next. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care, enjoy your resin, bye.